The galaxy's deadliest empires fear only one thing, and it isn't Earth's weapons. It's the terrifying secret buried deep within every human. The alien vessel hung in the dark void of space, silently orbiting Earth. It was the size of a small city, sleek and brimming with advanced weaponry, an apex predator among the stars. For millennia, the Threx Dominion had crushed civilizations without ever firing a second shot. They had perfected the art of psychological warfare, invasion, and biological subjugation. Their scouts always reported the same thing. No planet was ever prepared. When the scout ship returned from Earth, it seemed like another routine victory. They had studied the humans from afar for months, watching them through cloaked drones hidden in the upper atmosphere. At first glance, the humans appeared to be everything the Threx had expected: fragile, short-lived, disorganized. No telepathic signals, no biological enhancements, and no planetary defense systems worth worrying about. These creatures still fought over things as petty as land and resources. Their technology was primitive. To the Threx commanders, the humans were just another primitive life form waiting to be conquered. The invasion fleet, 1,000 strong, drifted into Earth's orbit under the assumption that this would be no different from any other conquest. A swift strike, followed by assimilation protocols, ripping control of the human minds before they even knew they were under attack. It was supposed to be easy. It always had been. But things didn't go according to plan. 3 Threx infiltration teams descended quietly to the surface, each equipped with cloaking technology, genetic camouflage, and neural inhibitors to disable any human they encountered. Their objective was to take a few key specimens, scan their minds, and reprogram them for obedience. Simple, efficient, clean. The first squad deployed in the heart of a bustling metropolis, New York City. The Threx agents materialized in the shadows of a crowded street, their alien bodies masked to appear human, blending in seamlessly. They had rehearsed for this. Slipping undetected into planetary societies was standard procedure. Yet, as they moved through the throngs of people, something strange began to happen. The humans, far from the clueless prey they were expected to be, noticed them almost instantly. People gave them strange looks, brief glances, wary stares, and subtle shifts in body language. It was almost imperceptible, but the Threx agents could feel it. The humans knew. "They're watching us," one of the agents whispered over the neural link. "How?" The commander dismissed the concern. "Impossible. Their visual cortexes aren't capable of detecting cloaked signals." And yet, something about the way the humans reacted unsettled the agents. It wasn't outright fear, but recognition, as if the humans could sense something wrong without knowing what. The agents moved faster, slithering through the crowd, trying to avoid unnecessary interactions. Then the unexpected happened. One of the humans smiled at them. A tall man in a wrinkled business suit locked eyes with one of the agents and grinned. Not out of friendliness, but something else entirely. It was as if he knew exactly who they were. And worse, he didn't look afraid. In fact, he looked amused. The agent's mind faltered for a brief moment. How could these primitive creatures sense them? No other species had ever reacted like this, not in millennia of conquests across the galaxy. Before the Threx could respond, the man muttered a few words under his breath. "Thought you could sneak in, huh? Welcome to Earth, buddy." And then, without warning, the man punches the alien agent square in the face. The blow was shockingly powerful, far more than the alien's enhanced bones could withstand. The agent crumpled to the ground, his cloaking technology flickering for a moment, revealing his true form. The other agents froze in disbelief. How could this human, so frail and unremarkable, strike with such precision and confidence? And that's when it dawned on them. Humans didn't fear them at all. The neural link buzzed with frantic chatter as the other agents scrambled to recover their fallen comrade. But it was too late. The commotion had drawn a crowd. Dozens of humans gathered around the strange scene, pulling out their phones, recording everything with grins on their faces. Instead of screaming or running away in terror, the humans began laughing. "Is this some kind of prank?" one onlooker asked. "Looks like a cosplay gone wrong," another chuckled. The alien commander, watching the scene unfold through his agent's eyes, felt the first stab of something he had never experienced before: dread. This was not how prey was supposed to behave. These humans, instead of panicking, were entertained by the sudden appearance of aliens. They didn't run. They didn't hide. They mocked them. Before the agents could escape, more humans arrived, this time armed with makeshift weapons. A group of construction workers, spotting the flickering cloaking device, decided to intervene. One of them, a burly man with a sledgehammer slung over his shoulder, stepped forward. "Look at these weirdos," he muttered. "Guess we'll have to teach them not to mess with us." Without waiting for further explanation, the man swung the hammer with bone-crushing force, shattering the skull of the nearest agent. The alien's body crumpled to the ground, twitching and spasming. The humans cheered. The commander aboard the mothership was now gripped with terror. In every other conquest, the sight of one alien death had been enough to send entire populations into submission. Fear was a universal constant. Every species they had encountered had collapsed under its weight. But these humans were different. Instead of succumbing to fear, they thrived on it. They enjoyed the chaos. They laughed in the face of danger. The surviving agents fled, their mission in ruins, but the humans chased them down. Videos of the encounter began to spread across social media within minutes, with captions like, "Aliens tried to invade," "Humans wrecked them," and "Cosplay gone wrong?" Or "First contact." The alien commander, horrified by what he was witnessing, immediately ordered an emergency recall. The agents were to abandon the mission and return to the ship before things got worse. The Threx commander, shaken to his core, sent a report back to the Dominion High Council. He warned them, "The humans are unlike anything we have encountered before. They are dangerous, unpredictable, and immune to fear. Their ability to laugh in the face of death makes them a threat beyond comprehension." But the council, arrogant and dismissive, refused to listen. "One failed mission does not indicate a threat," the elders scoffed. "Proceed with the invasion as planned." The commander knew, deep down, that they had made a fatal mistake. But by the time the Dominion understood the true nature of humanity, it would be too late. As the alien ship retreated from Earth, limping back into the darkness of space, the humans continued on as if nothing had happened. The encounter was just another bizarre event in a world already full of madness and unpredictability. What the aliens didn't know was this: humanity wasn't just prepared to fight back. They enjoyed it. They had been forged in millennia of wars, disasters, and chaos. And every time life tried to break them, they had become stronger, more creative, and infinitely more dangerous. The first contact had gone horribly right for the humans. And soon, the rest of the galaxy would learn why every alien in the universe fears the one species that refuses to fear anything in return. The Threx Dominion's High Council had made a grave error. After the failed infiltration, the surviving agents returned to their mothership in orbit, haunted by what they had seen on Earth. Reports of human behavior were compiled and analyzed for weeks, but the data made no sense to the alien strategists. None of it fit the patterns observed in other civilizations. Where most species crumbled under fear, humans thrived in it. Where terror should have paralyzed their minds, it seemed to fuel them instead. The Threx commanders needed answers. They scoured their ancient archives for any mention of humanity's origins, hoping to understand what made this seemingly backward species so dangerous. What they found was beyond comprehension. A truth so horrifying that even the aliens themselves could hardly believe it. The records suggested that humans had evolved through an unprecedented level of environmental and emotional stress, far surpassing anything seen in other intelligent species. Most civilizations across the galaxy developed in relative peace. They evolved on stable planets with predictable weather patterns, minimal natural disasters, and minimal predators. Their societies matured slowly, learning to solve problems through logic and reason. But Earth was different. Humanity was born into hardship. The Earth's climate was volatile, with ice ages, earthquakes, tsunamis, and plagues sweeping across the planet in cycles. Entire populations were wiped out time and again, yet the humans always came back, stronger, angrier, and more determined. As the Threx studied deeper, they uncovered a disturbing pattern. Every catastrophe that should have ended the species only made them more resilient. But the worst part wasn't humanity's physical endurance. It was their emotional evolution. The humans didn't just survive. They adapted to chaos emotionally and mentally in ways no other species could. The most frightening discovery came when the Threx focused on the human brain. They found that humans had a unique neurochemical response to fear and suffering. Where other beings would shut down under immense stress, humans learned to thrive in it. Their brains rewired themselves in real time, releasing chemicals not only to cope but to find meaning in suffering. Fear and trauma didn't weaken them, it sharpened them. Adversity became a tool, shaping their minds and driving them to learn, innovate, and fight back harder. No alien species had ever encountered anything like this before. Most beings, when faced with overwhelming terror, would surrender or break down. But humans? They laughed at it. One report highlighted this bizarre ability. A human under extreme stress releases dopamine, normally associated with pleasure. They develop a disturbing relationship with danger, where survival becomes a reward in itself. Even in hopeless situations, they find humor. They laugh not because they are unafraid, but because fear has become irrelevant to them. The Threx scientists coined a term for this phenomenon: adaptive aggression. It meant that humans didn't just overcome threats, they evolved because of them. They were a species that learned from every failure, every battle, and every mistake. Worse, they didn't need to be aware of this evolution for it to happen. It was instinct. What unsettled the Threx commanders most was not just humanity's ability to adapt. It was the speed at which they did it. Humans possessed an unmatched talent for innovation, and their greatest breakthroughs often came during times of war or crisis. The Threx studied Earth's history and found a chilling trend. During peaceful periods, human technological progress slowed. But during wars, pandemics, and existential threats, human ingenuity exploded. This pattern made humans uniquely unpredictable. Most civilizations, when faced with extinction, became desperate and reckless. Humans, however, became smarter, faster, and more creative. They didn't just react to threats, they outthought them. Worse still, they had an almost supernatural ability to turn enemies into allies, often assimilating conquerors into their ranks through diplomacy, trickery, or sheer persistence. They learn faster than any species we've encountered, the Threx commander murmured, his voice trembling as he reviewed the latest data. They aren't like us. They're something else entirely. What terrified the aliens even more was how little the humans seemed to know about their own potential. Humanity had no idea it was evolving with every hardship. Their greatest weapon wasn't their technology, it was themselves. They were walking engines of adaptation, improving with every defeat and growing stronger with every loss. And worst of all, they didn't even realize it. The Threx Council debated endlessly. Should they try to wipe out the humans now before it was too late? Could they afford to wait and risk Earth becoming a galactic superpower? In the end, the Council realized that their fear wasn't rooted in what humans were, but what they might become. If even a small fraction of humanity learned the truth about their evolutionary potential, they could reshape the galaxy. Unlike other species, humans didn't need to conquer planets with brute force. They could conquer through sheer willpower and adaptability. They would infiltrate, blend in, learn their enemies' ways, and then turn those enemies into allies or tools. It wasn't a matter of if humanity would dominate the stars. It was only a matter of when. The more the Threx thought about it, the more certain they became. Humans weren't just survivors. They were the universe's greatest threat in disguise. To confirm their worst fears, the Threx conducted an experiment. They sent a coded signal to Earth, an encrypted transmission containing subtle hints about their presence. They wanted to see how quickly the humans would respond. The result was nothing short of terrifying. Within hours, Earth's governments had intercepted the signal, decrypted parts of it, and begun collaborating across nations, something the Threx hadn't thought possible given humanity's divisive nature. Governments that had been on the brink of war just days before were suddenly working together, sharing data, and pooling resources to figure out what the signal meant. Within 48 hours, human scientists had built primitive devices capable of picking up alien transmissions. Within a week, Amateur hackers had cracked parts of the code and leaked it across the internet, sparking worldwide discussions about extraterrestrial life. Humanity had responded to a threat it didn't even fully understand, improvising, innovating, and working together in ways the aliens had never seen before. For the Threx, it was the final confirmation. Humans couldn't be stopped. Not by invasion, not by manipulation, and certainly not by fear. The Threx High Council issued an immediate order. No further contact with Earth. The humans were to be left alone, isolated, and monitored from a distance. Any attempts to invade or manipulate them would only backfire, accelerating their evolution even further. Do not provoke them, the Council warned. Do not engage them. If we let them remain ignorant of their own power, we may yet survive. But not everyone agreed with the decision. Some Threx officers believed the Council was being too cautious. They're just a primitive species, one officer scoffed. They don't even realize what they are. The commander's voice was grim as he responded. That's exactly what makes them so dangerous. As the Threx mothership drifted back into deep space, the commander stared at the blue planet on his view screen one last time. A sense of unease gnawed at him. They had left Earth untouched. But for how long? Humans didn't need advanced technology or fleets of warships to conquer the stars. They only needed time and hardship, and the universe had plenty of both to offer. The commander knew, deep down, that the Threx Dominion's decision to leave humanity alone was not a solution. It was a delay. Sooner or later, the humans would discover their true potential. And when they did, the entire galaxy would belong to them. The Threx Dominion had made their decision. Earth could not be allowed to continue existing. The Council's initial orders to avoid humans and leave the planet isolated were overturned by an emergency vote. Too many Threx generals feared what would happen if humanity discovered its true potential. A species that evolved through chaos, incapable of being controlled by fear, would eventually become unstoppable. The only solution was to destroy the planet before it could become a threat. The plan was simple. Hit fast, hit hard, and leave nothing behind. The Threx fleet would deploy a gravity bomb, a device capable of compressing Earth's core into a singularity, reducing the entire planet to cosmic dust within seconds. It was a method they had used on countless worlds before, and it had never failed. Fear would paralyze Earth's defenses, rendering humans powerless in the face of an unstoppable doom. That's how it always worked. But Earth was not like the other worlds. This was the final lesson the Threx would learn, and it would come too late. The fleet arrived in low orbit around Earth without resistance. There were no planetary shields, no fighter crafts scrambling to intercept the invasion. As far as the Threx could tell, humanity didn't even know they were under attack. It should have been an easy operation. With the gravity bomb primed and ready, the Threx commanders gave the order to launch ground assault squads as a secondary precaution. Even if the bomb failed for some unimaginable reason, the ground teams would pacify whatever survivors remained. Troop transports rumbled through Earth's atmosphere and descended on cities across the globe. The Threx soldiers, armed with energy weapons and advanced exosuits, expected their arrival to cause mass panic. They had conquered hundreds of planets. Fear was always the most effective weapon. Once civilians started screaming and running, the psychological collapse would follow naturally. But something strange happened as soon as the transports landed. No one panicked. Instead, humans looked up, saw the alien ships descending from the skies, and they took out their phones. Within minutes, footage of the Threx landings began flooding social media. The aliens watched in stunned disbelief as millions of humans tuned into live streams, not with fear, but with curiosity, amusement, and even excitement. Some thought it was a prank. Others speculated it was the government finally coming clean about extraterrestrials. In New York City, a man stood under a descending Threx ship, grinning from ear to ear as he live-streamed the event. "Bro, I told you aliens were real. Look at these guys." He even waved up at the ship as it landed. The Threx commanders, observing all this from orbit, were bewildered. "Why are they not afraid?" one of the generals hissed. "They should be screaming, fleeing, begging for their lives." Instead, humans crowded around the landed ships, filming everything. Some started shouting playful insults. Others threw objects at the soldiers, just to see what would happen. The first Threx soldier to step out of his transport was hit in the helmet with a can of soda. The human crowd erupted in laughter. "Nice cosplay, dude," someone yelled. The Threx troops activated their energy weapons in response, aiming to intimidate the crowd. But instead of cowering, the humans cheered and booed as if they were watching a sporting event. "Oh snap, that gun looks real," the alien commander on the ground growled into his comms. "These creatures, they think this is a joke." The Threx soldiers opened fire, non-lethal rounds meant to incapacitate the humans and restore control over the situation. Bright pulses of energy lashed out from the alien rifles, stunning several civilians and sending them crumpling to the ground. But something unexpected happened. Instead of scattering in fear, the humans became enraged. A man rushed forward and tackled one of the soldiers to the ground before anyone could react. Others grabbed whatever they could, pipes, bats, even bricks, and started attacking the alien invaders. More troops arrived to restore order, but it only made things worse. In every city where Threx forces landed, humans retaliated with relentless fury, their attacks more determined and organized with each passing minute. The Threx commander on the ground was horrified. "Why aren't they running?" he shouted into the comms. "This isn't how it's supposed to happen." From the streets, a chilling truth began to emerge. The humans were enjoying themselves. They weren't just fighting back, they were having fun. Videos of humans shouting war cries, laughing, and taunting the aliens spread across the globe in real time. Clips of people charging into battle with nothing but bare fists went viral within minutes. Some groups even started coordinating attacks online through message boards and encrypted chat rooms. The aliens had unleashed what they thought was a devastating invasion, only to find themselves at the mercy of a species that loved chaos and thrived on conflict. As reports of the invasion spread across the internet, humans around the world began arming themselves. Civilians raided hardware stores, turning garden tools, kitchen knives, and even power drills into makeshift weapons. In rural areas, hunting parties formed, tracking alien troops through forests and hills. Even Earth's militaries, initially caught off guard by the sudden invasion, adapted faster than the Threx could comprehend. Within hours, human fighter jets were in the air, intercepting alien transports and forcing them to retreat. Soldiers on the ground, initially disorganized, quickly learned the aliens' weaknesses, targeting exposed joints in their exosuits and using guerrilla tactics that confused the invaders. Every time a Threx squad thought they had the upper hand, humans adapted. Civilians fought side by side with soldiers. Mechanics reverse-engineered, captured alien weapons. Hackers breached the Threx communication networks, broadcasting misinformation that threw their ranks into disarray. "This is impossible," the Threx fleet commander shouted from orbit, watching the chaos unfold below. "How are they adapting so fast?" Another officer, pale and shaking, muttered, "It's like they're enjoying this. They're learning from it." In a desperate attempt to end the battle, the Threx fleet activated the gravity bomb. The device was designed to collapse Earth's core and wipe out all life in seconds. The countdown began, 10 minutes to detonation. But the humans were already 2 steps ahead. A group of rogue engineers, working around the clock with parts scavenged from alien wreckage, managed to hack into the bomb's remote controls. They delayed the countdown just long enough for a team of bomb disposal experts to reach the device. With only seconds to spare, the humans disarmed the gravity bomb, live-streaming the entire event to millions of viewers. The crowd erupted in cheers as the final wire was cut. "We just saved the world, baby," one of the engineers shouted into the camera. The Threx commanders, watching helplessly from orbit, were speechless. Their most powerful weapon, their ultimate trump card, had been neutralized by a species that was supposed to be terrified and primitive. In the end, the invasion that was supposed to crush humanity became the Threx Dominion's greatest disaster. Thousands of their soldiers were captured or killed. Their ships were shot down, their weapons stolen, and their plans ruined. The humans, far from being cowed, had grown stronger from the encounter, smarter, more unified, and more dangerous than ever. The Threx fleet retreated in shame, abandoning Earth to its victorious defenders. As they fled, the humans broadcast a final message to the alien invaders. "Thanks for the warm-up. Come back anytime." The Threx commander, sitting in stunned silence on his bridge, finally understood the truth. Fear doesn't work on humans. It only makes them stronger. And the worst part? This was just the beginning.